The real estate market in San Diego is changing. What should sellers be doing to adapt? My good buddy Bryan Devore is here. What's going on, brother?
How are you?
Great to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
You have been through all of the whole thing, the whole media journey. It's
Yeah.
great to have you here.
It's been fun.
It's been really fun.
I enjoy it, thanks.
7-time champion on the real estate debate.
That's right.
Really impressive stuff.
Official 7 times. I had more than that, but that's okay.
So what do sellers need to know now? I mean, interest rates are up. The market seems to be shifting a little bit more towards normalcy. I don't think we're in a normal or balanced market yet, but coming back that direction. What do sellers need to know? Like, what is your perspective on things right here? Mostly working with sellers.
So I like to look at it from the perspective of, with my boots on the ground, what I'm seeing with my clients. And when I put homes on the market, I can really gauge what the market's telling me. And just last week, I had the first price reduction conversation I've had with a client in over 2 years.
Really?
So there's a sign, right?
Now, when you priced that home, that particular one, were you being aggressive with the list price?
So we actually priced it, we thought, relative to the last model match that had closed escrow. It has fewer upgrades than that home did, but we priced it, we thought, accordingly. But in the time that home closed escrow, which meant it probably went into escrow 30 days-ish before that, and when we were listing the home, that's when interest rates started really getting aggressively higher. And so the same price point is going to cost a buyer $300-400 more per month. And so what we found when we put the home on the market at what we thought was the right price, the market told us, yeah, you're wrong, because we can't afford it. We started looking at homes for that price here, now we can't afford them.
And this is an attached home?
Yes.
HOA? And it's a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom?
It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, and it's La Costa, kind of a unique layout, kind of a split-level home.
Okay.
So it's not the cookie-cutter type home, but it's a pretty special property.
Costa's a great spot.
Awesome.
Incredible location.
Yeah, shopping, restaurants.
You know La Costa, it's basically the southernmost part of Carlsbad. It's basically Encinitas, but you're technically in Carlsbad. There's the Chopra Center there, the Costa Resort and Spa. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous area of San Diego County. Beautiful.
Best schools in the county.
Great, amazing schools. Yeah, La Costa Canyon High is obviously very competitive in sports and stuff like that. So very, very good location. 3-bedroom condo. What was the price point?
$900.
Okay. And that was
big.
where
It's big, 1,800 square feet. So it's a big townhome.
Okay, so $500 a foot is where you started. Yeah, that's significantly less than the average cost per square foot right now, which is $650 per square foot.
Right. Exactly.
So you came in a little bit above the previous comp because you have a more updated unit.
No, the opposite. So we were less updated. The last one sold for $1,040,000. And so we thought, okay, well, we're not as updated, so we're going to put up the home on the market at $900,000. What we've also seen in the marketplace over the last few years, as price points have gone up, and buyers, and you know this, are putting more of their money into their down payment, they don't have as much liquid to remodel, and so they want that turnkey home. This one's not quite turnkey. So I think that could be holding some people back as well. So I had the discussion. We went on the market on Friday, and we went through the weekend, had open houses, had good traffic, no offers. And I talked to a couple agents on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they were very surprised that I had no offers. I'm like, well, this is what the market's telling me.
Agents who had brought their buyers through the property were surprised?
One who did, and the others who were looking to maybe set up showings for later in the week. And they were just calling to be sure the home was still available.
So how long did you wait before you had the price improvement conversation with the seller? You just waited the weekend?
We went through the weekend, went through Monday, Tuesday. I kind of prepped it on Monday and said, okay, here's what we had been seeing for the last 2 years. You know, we should have offers, et cetera. We don't. So I kind of prepped them right from that point. And then we had the really official conversation about how much we should be talking about, and timing too. Because, you know, I don't want to knee-jerk. Usually in the olden days, you would have the conversation after about 2 weeks.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's usually...
So you don't think it was premature to have that conversation?
I don't think so. And the reason, too, is because, you know, while we don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction, we want to be priced appropriately before anyone who's in the market for a home in this price category is done.
Yeah.
And now you're only dealing with people who are coming on the market. And I'm a firm believer, and I told them this, in you do one price reduction. You don't want to be chasing the market. So you do one reduction, and you do it right. So we reduced it from $900 to $849, and then the next day, so I reduced it last night, This morning I already got a showing request. Went back to the people who had already seen it, told them, they said, okay, this is great. So I expect that will shake some things up. So I think, kind of keeping with our theme of what should sellers be aware of, sellers should be aware that buyers are aware that the market's changing and that they can't buy as much. So sellers need to really be, aware, listen to the realtor who's giving the advice of, the stats and the data that's showing what's going on out there.
I think it's, you and I have talked about this before, creating a seller's market for your home. Mm-hmm. Because the overall market can be in whatever condition. But if you can create a seller's market for your home, that's really what you're trying to do. And I think what is going to separate, I think a lot of people who sell their homes this year, for the remainder of the year, are going to have great experiences. I think a lot of people are going to have frustrating experiences. And I think it really depends on who your professional is and what advice you're given, and what advice you're taking, I should say.
Yeah.
Because if you do realize, okay, this has happened, now we need to rethink things, it's much better to start at a lower point, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just a much better place to be, but it's hard to do, to gauge exactly what is a lower point.
Right.
You kind of thought you were doing that with the 900. I mean, your comp is $1 million.
Right.
You're putting on at 900, okay, hey, that should cover the delta there.
Right.
And keep people interested in this thing. And it didn't. So now, going, all right, well, how do we, if you had it to do all over again, what would you list it at if it was your decision?
If I had to do it over again, I probably would have listed it at this price to begin with. I read this one time and it stuck with me. You can never underprice a house.
It's true.
You can always overprice it. It's easy to overprice it. Once you price it too much by $1, everything above that is too high. But you can never really underprice a home because the market will dictate where it's going to go. And if the market says, wow, this price is great, then you get multiple offers and it gets bid up to what the market will bear, just like anything.
I remember we had a point in time, maybe it was a couple of years ago, it was before COVID, when the market was seeming to get soft. Do you remember the $1 listings?
Yeah.
And we had a lot of conversations about that. It was going crazy online. So there's a couple people who were listing houses for $1, and they were sort of proving this point. And but doing it in real time, and clients were allowing them to do it. It was kind of wild. But it seems to me like we might be heading into a market where it may make more sense, instead of the regular cadence we're used to now of the frenzy and trying to sort of tighten the amount of time people can see the home, and tighten the amount of, more restrictions, like the weed out that's been going on, change it to a weed in.
Right.
And say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a house like that we were thinking should be 900 and go, we're going to list it for 799, but we're going to keep it on the market for 10 days before we do an open house. And then after we do the open house, we're going to say all offers have to be in by this date. We're going to give people, 3 or 4 days to get offers in, or something like that, like widening the top of the funnel.
Right.
Instead of a lot of the stuff that's been done in the past couple of years has been to tighten, because there's been so many people trying to get in.
Right.
I think we might be coming into that, for this summer. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think that buyers have fatigue. They're frustrated, and that frenzy of, and they're used to getting that immediate alert. New listing came on the market, I got to get in. If I don't get in the next 2 days, I'm not going to get it. I might as well not even try. But if we let people know ahead of time, hey, you have time, we're going to, have this availability to see the home, but price it aggressively like that, you're creating that seller's market, I think, for that home. But no, I agree with you that we have to change some thinking a little bit. It's a little bit about the pricing, but it's also the strategy too.
Yeah, there's some strategy there. I think that you can look back at that. I believe it was 2017 or 2018. Was it when people
somewhere
were
around
getting
there,
somewhere bearish? I remember being bearish in 2017 and interviewing people right here on the stage who were saying, yeah, it's a little frothy market right now. No, it wasn't.
No, right, I know.
That was opportunity knocking, screaming, just pounding at the
Had
door.
we known, right?
Right. And so when you look at the market today, a little bit fresh set of eyes, okay, well, what is it that needs to change to make it okay? What I've seen in just the last, let's say week or two, is that we have a more agreeable market. We have a market where buyers and sellers are a little bit more talky to each other. There's a little bit less of the sellers being in the ivory tower shouting down at the peasant buyers.
Yeah.
You will all do a multiple counter now and remove every contingency.
Exactly, right.
Submit your highest and best offer. If it's not above 800, don't even do it.
Uh-huh.
That is kind of going away.
Right.
And so now it's more inclusive, which is better overall for, I think, the energy of the market, for the way that the conversations can take place, for people that can be honest with one another again. Right. There's a lot of dishonesty that happens just because people believe they need to be dishonest in order to help their clients best. And I don't mean that in like a super major fraudulent way or anything like that, but just certain things, little things. So I think you have more transparency, more honesty. That'll be good for the market. Yeah. And when you have homes selling for under list price, when you have sellers who are saying, "Hey, call those people who came and saw the house back. At least get feedback from them, or try to figure out what's going on."
I know, getting feedback is back.
It's back. Yeah, feedback is back.
Yeah,
and that's good. That means that we're normalizing. We're coming back towards more normal. It's good for buyers.
Well, I agree, and it's safer. Because buyers who are removing all their contingencies is risky business for sure. And it's less emotional. It's been a very emotional market over the last couple of years. Some emotions good, sellers saying, yay, I made this much. For buyers, not so much. So I think if we can remove, it's going to be an emotional situation anyway. You're buying a home, you're selling a home, you're changing your life, whichever side of the fence you're on. But if we can make it less emotional and less fraught with anxiety, and people can make more rational decisions, I think it'll be better for everybody. We're still seeing homes selling for above list price on average.
Yeah, true.
It's still 106% of list price is what homes are selling for. And every pocket's different. You know this more than anybody, that it's very regionalized by zip code, by subdivision of what prices are going to do. And some are going to be higher than others.
I think that's coming back more, because for a period there of maybe a year and a half, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter where you were, 92105, 92114, no problem. Hey, you got a house there,
right?
And it's detached, and it's under $1 million. People are looking at it.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see more of the geographic snootiness coming back, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but just more of like, it matters now. Yeah. Where it was just, hey, if we're in San Diego anywhere and we get a house, that's all we're looking for. That's how hard it was to buy a home. Now I think people will be a little bit more, you know what? That one is 20 minutes east of where I want to be.
Right.
I think we'll just keep looking.
And it's an interesting point. One of the agents who showed that listing we were just talking about, I was asking him about some feedback and so forth, and he said, yeah, our clients looked at your listing and several others. And that's the first time I've heard an agent say they looked at several others. Because the way it's been there's nothing out there for sale. A home comes on the market, we have to go look at it and try to buy it. Or maybe there's a couple. But we're seeing a little bit more inventory. Inventory had been below 2,000 total units in San Diego County for a long time.
Yeah.
1,500, 1,700. We're at 2,500 now.
Yep.
And so it's starting to climb. Number of contracts are going down a little bit. So yeah, that normalcy is coming to play. But yet we're still under 1 month of inventory.
Yeah. So
it's not a buyer's market. It's not even a normal market. It's still a seller's market. Everyone just needs to be aware of that, but just know that we are in a shift.
Yeah, the slope is starting to come back. And so if you were to boil this down for the average seller, let's say who's watching us today, in this market right now, live discussion, what is the number one consideration for getting ready to put your home on the market, or once your home is on the market?
Number one, I can think of a few, but be realistic with yourself of what your goals are. If your goal is you need to be moved and somewhere where you're going to go by this date, that's where you need to set your expectations on. It's about setting your proper expectations based on what the market's doing. Listen to your realtor, listen to what's going on out there, and be sensitive to where the market is shifting. It's not what it was 3 months ago, and you got to just get with the times. It's still a good seller's market, no doubt, but just go about it the right way.
Okay. Anything specific? When you say go about it the right way, is there any one thing in there that's like, this is the thing that's the right way?
It always comes down to price. Price it to sell. And if you're going to err on the side of pricing it lower than you think. Price it even below the comps.
Yeah.
It'll get up there.
That's what I was telling a good friend of mine who's an investor. And I was just saying, hey, listen, just look at the comps, price your places under the comps, and let the frenzy continue.
Right.
Because if you're putting a brand new product out there and it's under the comps, you're going to get every single buyer is coming to your house first.
Right.
They're going to look at other stuff, but they're going to come to your house first, and you can still have a massive seller's market for your properties.
Right.
And I think the tip, the big tip, the takeaway tip is you can't underprice. Just know that. That house that's 900, someone who might be worried, well, I don't want to list it for 799. What if someone offers us 799? You know, okay, let them. You know, but if someone is going to offer us, people don't just offer you list price because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's not what causes people to make offers. So, you know, what is more apt to happen if you list that house for 799 or 849 or whatever is that you're going to catch a few buyers who weren't looking at 900.
Right.
Who were maxed out at 800 or maxed out at 850 in their mind or in their budget, and they might come into play now.
Right.
And just having that energy in the mix, having that additional offer, being able to send out SMCO might help your situation.
Right.
So you really can't underprice it. What if you don't get any offers at $799? Well, then guess what? You got to rethink a lot of things.
Right.
You got to rethink a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. Excellent strategies, and like you said, you can never really underprice the house. Just be aware of where you are in the market, what else is going on, what other properties might be coming on that might affect what you're doing, because we are seeing more inventory, and so you want to do it before other people start putting their homes on.
Yep, great stuff. Bryan Devore, thank you for coming in, man. Really appreciate you.
Always a pleasure.
Make sure you share this with your friends. Help make them smarter than everyone else.